Today, 30-2, we're taking topic 8.2, exploring graphs of periodic functions, which are repeating functions. Periodic function is a function whose graph repeats in regular intervals or cycles. For example, we can look at the graph of y is equal to the sine of x. If we graph this, you will notice that it oscillates. It goes up and down forever in both directions. We can plot these points using our calculator. When x is 0, the sine of 0 is 0. The sine of 90 is 1. Sine of 180 is 0. Sine of 270 is negative 1. And the sine of 360 is back to 0 again. The y is equal to the sine of x repeats every 360 degrees. So we say that the period of this graph is 360 degrees. The x-axis in this case is the middle line of the graph. Here we have another graph, same one. This time we're going to look at some points. That's the maximum point. When x is 90, y is 1. The maximum is going to be 1. The difference between 0 and 1 is called the amplitude between the middle and the maximum. One cycle is called one period. That's when the graph starts and then will start again. The midline is shown, in this case it's the y-axis. Above is the graph of y equals the sine of x. Below is the graph of y is equal to the cosine of x. Now these graphs are congruent, however they show up at different places on the graph. If we looked at y is cosine of x, you're going to see it starts at 1 and then goes down to 90, back up to 270, to 360. So the shapes are the same, but it's shifted, well, to the left or to the right, depending upon how you want to look at it. Both y equals the sine of x and y equals the cosine of x have the following characteristics. They both have many x-intercepts. They both have only one y-intercept. The domain of both is x is any real number. The range of both y equals the sine of x and y equals the cosine of x is that x is going to oscillate between positive 1 and negative 1. Our amplitude is 1 because it's from the middle to the maximum. Our midline is at y equals 0, and the period is 360 degrees, or 2 pi. There's going to be a maximum at 1, there's a minimum at negative 1. The graphs of y equals the sine of x and y equals the cosine of x are said to be congruent curves. If we graph them both together here, you're going to see y equals the sine of x in black, y is the cosine of x in red. And if you can see, every point would be shifted 90 degrees the other way. You got yourself congruent graphs. I want you to do page 492, sections G, H, and I, to examine the relationships between degrees and radians for graphs. And then I want you to do page 494, numbers 1 to 6.